Hello everybody, it's April 15th, nice 60-degree, partly cloudy day, also known as Tax Day. Get those taxes filled out and sent back in. Also known as Repot Your Tomatoes Day, which is what I'm going to do here today since I've already used TurboTax and got my taxes filled out, and since TurboTax doesn't have a turbo tomato program with an included robot, it falls upon me to repot my extra large tomato plants. So let's get started. Here we go. We have already repotted some stuff here. Yeah, and I'll show in greater detail here in a moment. Here, I'm just repotting the bigger tomato plants today. The smaller ones won't have to be repotted. A couple of pepper plants will have to be repotted at a later date. But yeah, I've already done, this was one 6-pack and this was another 6-pack. I just cut off some 2-liter bottles and put it in it. I assume this Coke bottle will work just as well as the Diet Dr. Pepper. We shall see. Okay, so yep. What I did was I cut them as tall as I absolutely could before they started curling in, because if I cut them any taller, you know, where they curl in, they would be hard to get back out when the time comes. Maybe hard anyway, but if they are, I can just split them down the side with a razor blade, and they are very rocky and easy to turn over. So if you use this method, the 2-liter bottle method, you need to put them in some other kind of container to keep them from totally turning over. These just turn over a little maybe. And I put a small handful of rocks, or a large handful of small rocks. There it is. Not a small handful of large rocks, but a large handful of small rocks. There you go, I got it right. Okay, so yeah, let's get started here on filling one of these up. And the potting soil I'm using is Hyponex potting soil. Just any potting soil will probably be fine. This is just what Walmart had. 40-pound bag for $1.97, so that's not too bad. And believe it or not, on those 12 up there, I've used up almost one 40-pound bag already. Luckily I bought 2 40-pound bags. And it's always wet. I wish that it would be dry, but it stays outside and it's always wet. It would be a little bit easier to work with were it dry, but it is not. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, let's see here. All right, I've got just the large handful of small rocks in the bottom of this here, and I take just about one handful of this, and that's almost enough. Maybe about another half a handful. What I'm doing here, basically, I just enough to you know, basically cover your rocks up, and not much more. All right, now what I do, of course, I take out. I've already watered this, so they're easier to take out when you water them. So I'm going to take this one out. These particular ones here are these supersonic tomatoes. All right, and then I pinch off. Be merciless on pinching off the leaves here, or the stems. I always pinch off all the way to the top 2. Okay, and then I set my plant on down in here. Okay, that's what it looks like. So it's way down in there, and I'll be let me wiggle it around so you can see sort of how it looks. And I'll be putting the dirt, you know, packing it around the edges there and all, trying to get all the air pockets out. I'm sure most of you know all this stuff, but it will form roots. This tomato plant, all the way, everything that's underground will form roots, and I shall be planting this. Hopefully, it'll stay in this pot for approximately 3 weeks, unless it gets too big. And I would like for it to go 3 weeks before I wind up putting it out in the ground, or directly into the ground. But it may not make it that long. It may get too big, but we'll see. If I have to set it out too early, then I'll have to put my floating row cover over the top of the plants after they go in the ground, which is extra trouble, and I'd rather not do that, but it may come to that. Seems like gardening is always a lot of trouble. But yep, that's the size of that. And now I have run out of anything to say, which is kind of unusual.
I'll be speeding this up anyway. I will be sounding like a chipmunk. As far as I know, the tomatoes are just about the only thing. It's the only thing that I plant that you plant just much deeper than what it originally comes in if you're buying plants. I know the peppers are really sensitive about that sort of thing. If you plant a pepper plant just any deeper at all than what it comes in the pot, it will just rot off. The stem will just rot off right at ground level. I even mulched mine with some leaves one time and got leaves a little bit too close to the pepper plants, and that made them rot off at the ground level. So you have to be careful with your pepper plants, but not so much with the tomato plants.
Oh, and we've got a cat. She has found her a tent. Hey, Susie. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm a little dirty. My hand's a little dirty. Suzer! Okay, so you're gonna check out where I bury the peelings. How's it going there, girl? Doozy! Well, and she can go through the, I don't know, that's like 6-inch, yeah, about 6-inch squares there. She can go right through it. I saw a video on YouTube here the other day where a small deer came through a cat door into the house, which I thought was pretty amazing. I don't know if I can find it again. I'll see if I can find the link for that, since I did mention it. Hey, Susie. Okay. So, anyhow, that's how it looks right there. Oh, let's pick it up. A Diet Dr. Pepper tomato. It shall produce all sorts of fizzy tomatoes, I suppose. And there's Susie back in there. She has found a home. Hope she doesn't take up permanent residence there. I need to put my plants back in there. And I did, I think I mentioned this, I did have to make another little tent thing because one just wasn't quite big enough. What's going on, Susie? Ooh, you hear something, don't you? Goodness. Okay, and this is what our final result looks like. I've got 18 tomato plants right here. I actually have one more flat of tomatoes, but they're very small tomatoes. And again, I want to stress that if you do them in 2-liter bottles, you really need to have them in another container because these really are quite rocky on the bottom. But it works for me. But if you do it, just be careful. Okay, so here's what that group of 18 looks like when it's ensconced in the comfort of its own little tunnel. So yeah, it really did. You can see why I had to build another tunnel, because that last one there is slid back as far as it'll go. So this is really totally full, and really I don't expect I will make it 3 weeks, because this is going to be like really crowded in 2 weeks probably. But I'll make it at least 2 weeks just as is, just taking them out and watering them every now and then. And over here on the other side, which this is all peppers except these little bitty tomatoes right there, the early girl tomatoes. Well, excuse me, early girl and celebrity. Wow, I've got too many tomatoes. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of room in this tunnel here right at the moment. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye, everybody. Okay, I've already whistled up my cats. I didn't get that on film, me whistling them up, but I whistled them up, and here they are. Out of 3, 1 might go in. I don't know. We shall see. Who's going in? Carly's going in. Susie's going in. And Babs is just gonna hang around outside a while. Okay, so long everybody. Yeah, I'm coming, Carly, don't worry about me.